Hello there and welcome to ADcraft. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build this awesome haunted house, which is actually a recreation of Phantom Manor from Disneyland Paris. First, the materials, so pause the video here. Some of these values may vary depending on the mixture of blocks you use, and you can replace the grey concrete with anything you want for the internal walls. The build will fit in a space that's 39 blocks along the front by 35 down the sides, and that is going to be 34 blocks tall. The build will come to the very edge of this space. This is the detailed floor plan of the build, so pause the video here as you'll need to be precise when you place the blocks down in this formation. You won't need the white concrete in the bottom, that's just so that you can see the outline more clearly. First we're going to build up the platform that the build sits on. Now if you're building this into the terrain in your world, then you might want to make some adjustments to this because you won't need so many of these blocks, and we're going to be using the stone bricks, the stone and the andesite in order to actually build this. I would suggest you probably use around 2/3 of the stone bricks and then mix in maybe 1/6 of the andesite and the stone to actually get the best looking effect. So let's build that up 3 high all the way around any of these blocks that are marked out. When you're done, it will look something like this depending on which mixture of blocks you've used. And now we're going to take out some blocks. I've lit up the inside as well because all of this is going to be covered up, so if you're in survival you'll want to do the same. Firstly, we are going to take out all of the blocks from here right the way across, on the front right the way down to the ground because this is going to be a staircase. We're then going to also take out these 4 blocks and these 2 blocks on each side, so 4 and then 2. And then we're also going to take out this set of blocks just here and this set just here as well. So when you follow this round from the front, you're just going to remove those, and then equally we're going to take out all of the ones down this side because this is going to be another staircase, and then we're going to take out 2 blocks there and 1 block there, just like so. Then on the other side of the doorway here, we're going to take out these 2 blocks by this walkway. And lastly, we're going to take out this block at the other end of the walkway on the top left hand side. Next we've got some of the tough brick and polished tough variants, and we're going to fill in some blocks here. So first of all, with the slabs, we're going to step up from the bottom here in half slab increments, and we're going to do that coming across and bring that right the way across to the other side here. On this platform here at the front, this is the doorway, so we're going to fill all of this in with the polished tuff, and then once we've done that, I'm just going to mix in some of the other tough brick variants. We're going to do the same here, so we'll just put a couple of blocks here, and then this is the other staircase. Now this one is in stair format, so we've got 2 stairs here and 2 stairs here, just like so, and then just replace whatever you fancy with the other types. And when you're done, it'll look something like this. Next, the floor of the build, and this is going to be a mixture of the crimson planks and the dark oak planks, and the same for the slabs depending on which section. First of all, this middle section, we're going to be using the full blocks and filling in everything inside this big wall right the way up to all of the edges, and I would suggest that you probably use about 75% or 3/4 of the dark oak planks and then the rest with the crimson planks. On the outside of the wall, on this walkway that goes around this side and this little section here, we are going to be using the slabs, and we're going to be using the slabs because these are going to be the bottom slabs, so the ones on the bottom half of the block like so you can still see this. Again, the same proportions between the dark oak and the crimson slabs, but fill those in right the way round. When it's done, it will look like this, and the final stage will be to come down here on this side by the big long walkway and just to put a stair going up to that to ease that transition through. Next, using our stripped mangrove logs, we are going to build a frame, and we are going to place a pillar on this corner. We're going to place a pillar on this corner. We're going to have one here, and lastly one here. So these are on the inside, so this is a walkway around the outside, and that's on the build. Each of these is going to be 13 blocks tall. And whilst I'm building those up, why don't you take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now we're going to be finishing the frame by connecting these up using some cherry logs with some cherry wood at the intersections. So we're going to bring this along like so, and we're actually going to follow this. So once we get above this block here, we're going to place ourselves another cherry wood and then change direction for one block like this. And then we're going to place another cherry log and bring ourselves round. And then we're going to do the same, following what is beneath us all the way round, with the exception of this little alcove. So this bit here, we're just going to come directly across like this and connect up to the other pillar at the back here. And equally here, we're just going to connect directly across like this as well. When that's done, you'll have the frame like this with the extra chunk matching up with the stone beneath. And the next stage is all of these sides we are going to build up with the jungle planks right the way across. Now that you've got your big jungle wood box, we are going to go inside and we're going to coat this entirely with whatever your interior block is going to be. So for me, that's going to be the grey concrete. Now with the interior done, we're going to head to the very back of the build here, where we've got this little outcrop. And this, we are going to put some more jungle planks, and this is going to be 4 high coming across, but we're also going to step it like this. So it's going to be 4 high all the way around, like this, but at the 2 ends we're going to step it up just like so. So we'll fill this in with the jungle wood like that. The other thing that we can also do is underneath this we can knock out all of these blocks right the way through, so this will then be connected to the rest of the build. And once that's built up and connected through, we're going to finish up by bringing this concrete right the way out to the top here, so bringing it out 1 block past the edge so it lines up with this wood. Now we're going to place the windows, and these 2 sides are going to be exactly the same. The windows are each going to be 2 blocks wide by 5 blocks tall, and they're going to go all the way through the concrete. So you've got 1, 2 wide, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tall, and that is going to be punched out in this spot. So you've got 1 gap at the side here, you've got 1 gap the other side, so that will be 2 blocks between them. And then in the middle, so 1 block down, but with 3 blocks either side of this. So there we go, and then get rid of all of that concrete as well, and do the same on the other side. And once that's done, it'll look like this. Now we're going to go for the doorway, and the doorway is going to be in the center of the door, and that's going to be 4 by 3 high like so, and we're going to knock that all the way through. And then around that we're also going to take out 1 level of the planks, and we're going to replace this with some of the stripped mangrove wood just like that. Now above this we're also going to take out a little bit more. We're going to go 4 across in the middle and 2 high, and that's going to go right the way through as a little archway over the door. For the final window, the main window, we are going to come up to the middle directly above that doorway and knock out these 10 blocks right the way through, and there we go. And lastly, we've got 2 smaller windows, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 on either side, and then we're going to knock out the 2 lots of concrete behind it. Because these are at an angle, you need to knock through 2 layers of the concrete to get the desired effect. On the left hand side of the building, we've got 2 sets of 2 windows. So we're going to come in 2 blocks and then set our 5 blocks here. That's 4, there we go, 5 blocks, and do the same here. And this is going to go all the way through, and then we're going to have 2 sets directly above them where we've got 1 block gap at the top. And once those are done, they'll look like this. Then coming around to this section here, we are going to have 1 window that is going to be here in the middle. So we've got the blocks that are going to come out just like this in this side. We're going to have another window on this side, which is going to be centered in the wall. So it's going to come down like this as well, and get rid of all of those blocks. 1 more level. And lastly, we are going to have a doorway, and that is going to be 3 blocks high and go right the way through like that. And 1 final window directly beneath this one on this side, going up the 5 blocks. Can't count to 5 at the moment. Here we go. And that finishes the left hand side. On the right hand side, we're going to start with a doorway which is going to be 4 blocks high on this side and go right the way through like that, and then we're going to come across 1 block, and then we're going to have a window, and 1 block, and we're going to have another window. Now these are going to be the 5 block high windows like the others. Directly above those we are going to have 3 sets of windows. So we're going to have a window here, a window here, and a window here. And once done, they will look like this. Finally, for the back, we're going to start with a 3 high doorway just in the side that's got the other doorway in. Then we're going to come in here, 2 blocks in, we're going to go 3 high, 2 more blocks, then 3 high here. Then directly above these, we're going to have a regular 5 deep window like this here. And then we're going to come down to the ground floor, and we're going to go 1 block along, and we're going to knock out the 5 blocks here. And then from the other side, we're going to come in 2 blocks and knock out the 5 blocks like this, which should leave 4 blocks between them. Now in the middle of this 4 blocks, we're going to go directly above that, leaving the 1 block at the top, of course, and setting out the last window up here, with the finish back like so. Now for the windows, all of the 5x2 windows will have the same design, which is we start with 2 of the polished deep slate blocks. We have 2 mangrove stairs upside down, 1 each side like this, making an archway, and then some of the mangrove trapdoors, which I'm shift clicking so I can put on top of each other like this in the sides of the window, and then some glass panes of the black and the grey going back and forth on the top and the sides, so that you've got a nice pattern in there. Now that, like I say, is going to be the same for all of the windows. Some of the windows also have an additional design, so all of the windows down here will be like this. The one up the top here has an extra 4 blocks either side taken out and replaced with prismarine, and then has some warped trapdoors at the sides like this, to make it look like we have some shutters in place. Now I will show you which windows will go where. At the front, it's only the 2 side windows that have the additional shutters. On the left hand side, it's all of the top windows that have shutters and all of the bottom windows that are regular ones. On the right hand side, none of the windows have shutters, so it's just the normal design. And on the back, every window has shutters, all of the 5x2 at least. Now for the other openings, starting with the main entrance, we are going to start with some of the dark oak trapdoors. We're going to place them around the sides like this, and then flap them all down to make a temporary wall. I'll get rid of that one in a second. And then we're going to place ourselves some doors, and these are going to be the mangrove doors. Then we're going to place some of the trapdoors against these to give it a second level and give us a nice surround for the door itself. Now we've got some decorated pots, and we're going to place 3 of those on each side like this. On top of those we've got a mangrove plank, then we've got some upside down stairs going across. In this gap that we have here, we are going to place some shroom lights, and that's going to give us a bit of lighting. Then we've got some warped trapdoors here, and then finally we've got some decoration in the form of some upside down stairs that we're going to place around the doorway like so. For our 2 little windows at the front, we're going to start by putting a mangrove slab up at the top, and then we're going to place 2 polished deep slate on either side like this, and then we're going to place an upside down mangrove stair. Now this is quite tricky in the next important step. We need to go inside and place a fence gate on either side like this, just on top of the stairs, because we need to open those outwards. Now we need to place our glass panes on the top and on the bottom with a different colour in between. And lastly, we need to fill these gaps in with some shroom lights. For our door on the right hand side, we start by placing 2 of the polished deep slate, and then some upside down mangrove stairs in front of that. And then underneath the deep slate we've got some shroom lights with some mangrove trapdoors in front of those, and then we come just inside and we place some doors so they open outwards like that. Round the back we have an upside down stair at the top, another upside down stair at the bottom, and then alternate the glass panes between the two different windows. Round the side we have an incredibly simple design. We just have the upside down stair here, and if I can get into the doorway, then we put the door here, and the very last door, again we'll place the door first, and then we just finish off with an upside down stair. Now, making sure to light up the inside as well, we are going to put in a floor in exactly the same way, just mixing up the dark oak planks with the crimson planks, and that's going to go on the block just beneath this lintel, which is the polished deep slate. Once it's done, it'll look something like this. At this point you might want to put in a staircase for wherever you want to have it for the future. Now we're going to add some texture to these very flat looking jungle plank areas that we've got here, and the way that we're going to do that is stripped oak logs and the oak planks themselves. So the method that I use to do this, and feel free to be as generous as you like around here, is we're going to create some patches using the planks themselves and the wood. So first of all, make something that looks like a shape that is kind of fairly irregular. It doesn't matter what you actually do with it, but something just like this, for example. And then everywhere where there's a transition, we're going to put some of the oak planks in as well. And this is a great technique for this and a whole bunch of other buildings to add a bit of texture in an interesting way, and kind of show that you might have an area that's, say, worn off, and then that's transitioning from the jungle through the oak to the worn section. And just there you can see it makes a big difference. So go ahead and do that as much as you like around the build. And once that's done, it'll look something a little bit like this. But if you're interested in getting hold of this world, then it is available to my patrons if that's something that's of interest to you. If it is, check out the link in the description. Now we're going to deal with the railings, and we'll start on the right hand side. So first of all, we're going to place 2, 3, 4 and 5 of the polished deep slate walls, then 1 in each of these corners and on the edge here like so. Then coming round to the front, we're going to leave 2 gap here and then place 1, and then another one on this corner and on this corner with 2 just beneath it. And then we've got an L shape coming up at the bottom on both of these sides like so, and then 2 here with 1 here, then 1 on this corner, 1 on this corner and this corner, with 1 in the middle which is just there. And then we're going to leave a 3 gap here, then we're going to leave 4, then we're going to leave another 4 and have the final one here, then 1 and then 1 in the middle, which is just like this. And all of these are going to be connected up with fence gates in between, and these are the warped fence gates. And this is how it'll look once you've put the fence gates in place. Now we're going to look at the overhang and balcony on the right hand side. First of all, in between the 2 windows on the bottom of this block, we're going to come out with some slabs. And that's going to go all the way along, and these are going to be bottom slabs. And as we've done with the inside and the floor, we're just going to then mix in some of the crimson. Along the side of that, we're going to use some deep slate tiles, and we're going to come right the way across with these deep slate tiles, except for the corner blocks, because the corner blocks are going to be polished tough like this. Once we've done a line of full blocks, then we're going to use a line of slabs at the bottom to make a little roof, and that's going to come out in exactly the same way. We've got a tough slab on the corner like so. Moving up above that, level with this window again, we're going to use some tough blocks, and we're going to have 2 wide, so we're going to mirror what we've done for the floor, but with tough blocks here, the polished tough above it. And then round the edge, we're going to have a deep slate brick either side, and then some deep slate brick stairs just running around the edge as a little roof on this bit as well, and those are going to loop round just like that. Now we're going to finish off this section, and the first thing that we're going to do is come down to the bottom level, and where we are directly above each of these walls, we're going to place ourselves a hopper pointing downwards, and do that here. So it should be 2 blocks gap in between each one. And then on the top, we are going to put a wall either side like this. This is a polished deep slate walls. We're going to take out these 2 blocks and actually replace them with the polished tough, and then put some walls on top of them. And similar to beneath, what we're going to do is we're going to put a hopper pointing down on each of those corners like so. In between each of these hoppers, then we're going to place ourselves some of the warped trapdoors. And then here, all the way around, we're going to place ourselves some fence gates. The last step will be for us to put warped fences all the way round, connecting up on both levels to the hoppers. If you make sure you shift click, or if you're placing against the hopper, with the warped fences. And when that's done, it will look like this. Now we're going to put ourselves the little balcony on the front. So we're going to start by placing between this window and the one on the other side some bottom dark oak slabs, and then randomly just mix in a couple of the crimson slabs. Now, using the deep slate tiles, we are going to place a block either side here, and then some blocks coming out like this. So this is now 3 wide at this stage, and then the same here, and then we're going to make that 3 wide at the front as well, just like that. Once that is 3 wide, we are going to actually add in some tough blocks on the diagonal on these 2 corners, just like so. We're also going to have a diagonal coming out here for when this connects up, and then we're going to have a tough block here and a tough block here, and these ones at the front are going to have some walls, and then just some fence gates connecting up on all of the sides, just like this. Now we're going to carry our deep slate tiles on at a 2 wide border all the way round this edge. And once that's done, we are going to replace these diagonals again with the tough blocks. And then when we get round to this point, we're going to do something a bit special. We're going to have a fence here, and then we're going to have some fence gates just in front of this window. Back at the front of the build, we're going to add a line of the tile slabs that is going to go all the way round this center section, and that's going to be 3 wide all the way round to this point on the other side. And then we're going to place some slabs, and you guessed it, these are going to go diagonally at the front, on the corners coming out, and on here we're actually going to do something a bit different. We're going to have 2 in a row, and then 1 coming out at an angle like this, which again is going to connect around to the next section. And the last thing we will do is just replace the 3 on this side with the tough slabs. Then on the left hand side, again, we're going to have the deep slate tile slabs coming out by 2 and going all the way round, with the polished tough slabs going diagonally out on the corners. And when finished, it'll look like this. Now on the outcrop at the back, we're going to add a simple deep slate brick tile stair roof. So coming from the bottom, first of all, we're going to lay a line of the stairs at the bottom block, and that is going to step all the way up. And then once we've done that, we are going to double up the stairs by placing upside down stairs in the gaps like this all the way across. So create that as a full roof, which when you're done will look like this. Now to finish off this veranda, we are going to come in and do exactly what we did on the other side, which is directly above these walls. We're going to place ourselves some hoppers, and then we're going to connect it up all the way along using some of the warped fences, and that's going to be done on every wall that we've got here. Then you can use some soul lanterns wherever you like to actually just light this area up. And this is what the finished result will look like. Next, we're going to add some detail for the edging with some of these mangrove trapdoors, and that is going to be a trapdoor on the side of all of these blocks going up to the top. We're going to close those, and then when you look at it from the front, you just get this red edge, and we'll do that on both the sides. And we're also going to do that above the roof as well, and we're going to take that right the way up as high as this cherry log. And when that's done on both sides, it looks like this. And at the back of the house, we're going to add 3 on each side, so we also get this effect. Now for these 2 roofs, the one going right the way around the edge and this little teeny tiny one here, we're going to add some texture. Now these are currently the deep slate tile bricks. We're going to create some blobs using the deep slate bricks themselves. So what you want to do is just randomly select some areas and replace them with the bricks like this. And we'll do this on this side bit, as I say, but try and make them quite blobby, and when you do that it'll look really, really good. And the finished result will look something like this, which is again very subtle but very effective. And we're going to do a very similar thing with the pattern using the cobbled deep slate stairs on this back roof and on this teeny tiny roof here. So make sure that you've got some good blobs going on. And if you do, you can end up with something like this. Moving up to the roof now, we're going to start by coming to the front, and on this interior wall we're going to place the jungle planks like so, and we're going to place a line of the slabs just on top, and again mix these up in whatever way you see fit. Then we're going to take a line of the cobbled deep slate and we're going to run it all the way around the edge on top of these cherry logs, and in the middle we're going to add a floor like we have done just down beneath. So again, if you want to build another staircase up to this level you can, but we'll get that all filled in and you'll get a result something like this. Now for some decoration around this, so we're going to start by placing 2 upside down stairs on this side and 2 upside down tough polished stairs on this side, with a full block here, then leave a gap on both sides and then fill in the 2 middle ones, and then some upside down stairs in between just like this. Then all the way around the edge we're going to have right way up cobbled deep slate stairs, with this being your finished result. Now we're going to decorate the underside of this ledge that we've created, and on all these full blocks we are going to place ourselves a warped trapdoor. And then in the spaces in between, we're going to have some open fence gates that go like this as well. And we're going to carry this design on right the way round the build. And what I would suggest is you space them out however you'd like, but above the windows, make sure you've got some trapdoors, and on the corners, you make sure you've got some trapdoors, and then just randomly place some other ones. Try not to have 2 of the fence gates next to each other, and just like I say, go around and decorate however you think looks best all the way around the edge. And with a bit of trial and error and working out what you like the look of, then you will get a result that will look something a bit like this. Now, starting just behind these jungle planks, we are going to place ourselves 2 of the cobbled deep slate and then 2 more on top of that. And then going out from this, we are going to have 2 cobbled deep slate running right the way around the edge of the build. And then on top of that, we're going to have 1 cobbled deep slate and 1 cobbled deep slate wall going all the way around the edge of the build as well. So that'll be the same on both sides. So 2 blocks here, and then on top of that, on the inside, a cobbled deep slate and then a cobbled deep slate wall. Alongside that, we are going to add some iron bars around this little veranda section. And on top of this, every other block, we are going to add ourselves, in fact on every block, we are going to add ourselves an upright iron bar just like this. That's a bit fiddly, but once it's done, we are also going to add ourselves a line of the jungle planks that go up to the same level as the wall. And when that is all done, it'll look like this. And what we now need to do is replace all of these corner blocks with some blocks that are the polished tuff. So we can go in like this, and then we will get the diagonal edging, and we'll do that for all of the corners around the build. For the next 2 layers, we're going to start by placing a U-shape 2 blocks high of the jungle planks going around just like this. Behind that, we're going to have 2 cobbled deep slate on each side, and then we're going to run the cobbled deep slate around for another 2 layers like this. on the bottom layer, we're also going to have a layer of walls going alongside it. When we get to the corners again, it's going to be exactly the same deal. We're going to use the polished tuff blocks, and we use the polished tuff wall as well. But this is going to run all the way around. And this will be your end result. On top of this, we are going back to the jungle planks, and we are running a line all the way along on top like so. And then we're also going to extend it this time. 1, 2, 3 more blocks. 1, 2, 3 more blocks. And then connect up, because this is where the tower is going to come out of the roof. Next to that, we're going to use some polished deep slate this time to run all the way to the corners, and then some polished tuff before carrying on with the polished deep slate all the way round. And in here, in the gap in between, we are going to be placing some bottom slabs with a mixture again of the dark oak and the crimson slabs to fill in this gap. And this will be the result. Next, we are going to go another layer of the jungle planks all the way around this section. And on top of that, we are going to add in each of the corners a cherry log or cherry wood, whichever you prefer, and then just fill in the gaps in between on all of those sides as well. And lastly, but not least, all the way around, we are going to add ourselves a fence of iron bars. And on top of that, we are going to add, not on the very first block, but every block afterwards on both sides and all the way around. And with that done, we're going to come inside here and fill this portion up just inside with some of the grey concrete. And once that's done, we're going to put ourselves a window. It's going to be the same design as this with the shutters. So we're going to put that here, 1 block down, and go all the way through the concrete like so, right the way down to this point. And because of the shutters, it's going to have these edge pieces taken out as well. So put that in place. And then we're going to add the decoration around the side like we did beneath with these mangrove trapdoors all the way up on both sides and at the back, just like this on this particular block. And so it merges in nicely. We're also going to replace all of these blocks around the edge here with some stairs. With the final stage being adding some texturing to this particular section as well, wherever you feel that it is gonna make it look a little bit less plain. Now for the roof of the tower, and that is gonna start with having a line of the cobbled deep slate going all the way around this section, and then on the outside of that we're going to use right way upstairs of the cobbled deep slate as well. And then when we get to the corners, we're going to place those in using the tuff blocks. Once we've done that, we are going to go and do another layer on top as well. So that is going to have the tuff on the corners and the cobbled deep slate coming round like this all the way round, but again tuff on the corners. But we're also going to have a layer on the inside of this as well to bring it in one, so it's going to start closing up the hole. And once that is done, it will look like this. Next, we're going to take some shroom lights, and we're going to take out these 2 blocks and put 2 shroom lights in their place there. And then we're going to have 2 more sets of 2 on top of that. We're also going to have 4 on either side, just like this. And then we're also going to take out these blocks and place some right way up stairs in that gap. Now we're going to add in some of the polished tuff blocks in these corners on all of the sides, just some regular cobbled deep slate in this gap. And then we have got 2 lines of the walls that are going to go in between, just like so. And that is going to happen round till this point. In this gap, we're going to have a little square of stairs. So it makes us this little pattern. So you've got a little hole here. On this side, we're going to place in our walls again. And then we are going to use ourselves some of the trapdoors first of all. So the trapdoors are going to go against there. and then we're going to have the stairs up at that level, so we've got a bigger oval window here, and lastly we're going to have the stairs on this side as well, and then finish that off with the last of the cobbled deep slate walls. Now we're going to finish off this roof, and we're going to start with some cobbled deep slate on each of these sides, with some polished deep slate on top of that, just like so, and then filling in the corners with some polished tuff all the way round. Once we have done that, we're going to get some tuff stairs, and we're going to create a little roof bit on top of each of these window sections. So we've got 3 of those around the different sides, and then we're going to have some bottom slabs that we're just going to put in and mix in, just one. There we go, 1 crimson slab, before finishing off with some iron bar railings around the edge, and then some chains. And this is going to be, again, slightly tricky, but on every block. And the tower, when it's finished, will look like this. The final touch on the tower is going to be similar to what we've got underneath these rafters. We're going to be using some of the warp trapdoors here all the way around, so every other block. And then we're going to be using some fence gates that we're then going to open up to give this nice pattern, and just do that same pattern on each of the sides. Now we're going to put in some little dormer windows, and all of these are going to be the same, just in different places that I'll show you around the build. The first one is 1 block away from these iron bars, and we're going to knock out 3 blocks, both all the way through, and it's going to be 3 by 3, which is going to give us the window hole. Next, we're going to add in 6 of the mangrove planks, then 3 upside down mangrove stairs. In here we've got 2 granite walls, then 2 of the polished deep slate walls, cobbled deep slate rather, and then 2 more of the granite walls, just like so. Against this block here we have a single stripped mangrove log, and then we have some tough stairs here, and then some cobbled deep slate stairs just inside that, and 2 polished tough blocks just on top. And we'll finish these windows off by adding in some glass panes at the back, just like this, and then adding some stairs that go in here to give us a little bit of colour, and lastly a warped trapdoor like so. And those are positioned as a mirror either side of this central tower, so in exactly the same place, 1 block further along here. Then we've got this one, which is exactly in the middle of this wall, so right the way above the gap in between these 2 windows. And lastly, we have the one on this side, which is in the center. You can have it either side of the center block, but I've just chosen it on the right hand side of the center block, so just above the right hand side of that window itself. Almost done now, and we're going to do the first of the 3 chimneys, and we're going to come to the right hand side of the build near the back, 1 block in from this tuff, and we're going to take out a donut shape of these blocks. So we're going to leave this wall in the middle, and then using a mixture of bricks and granite, we're just going to mix this up so we create this donut shape. On top of that, we've got some polished granite, and then again using a mixture of the granite and the brick walls, we're going to come here and continue this chimney upwards. On top of that, we're going to have 3 polished deep slate. On top of the polished deep slate, we're going to have some campfires, and on top of the campfires, we're going to have some slabs like this. We're then going to block all of these fires in with some of the warped trapdoors, just like so, and then the final one goes on the end, just like this, and that is the first of the chimneys. The next chimney is going to be on the front right hand side of the roof. We're going to come in 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks from the front, and 1, 2, 3 from the side, and then take out 4 of these roof blocks, and then using a combination of the granite and the bricks, we're going to build up 2 high, and then using some of the granite walls this time and the brick walls, we are going to come up another 2 high like so, and then on top we've got the polished deep slate as we had before, and then some campfires on top of that. This time, however, we're going to use some stairs. So we've got a stair around this way, and we're going to curve all of these stairs round so you get this nice design on top, before finishing off with the warped trapdoors against the campfires, just to close them in for the second of the 3 chimneys. The final chimney is on the right hand side at this corner, and what we're going to do is we're going to take out these 3 chains and these 3 iron bars, and then we're going to clear out a 3x3 space here that we're going to fill with some granite like so, just all the way in. Now down here, right the way down to this point, we're going to use a mixture of the granite and some bricks just to build the chimney stack up the side. And then we are going to have a donut shape of these brick walls with some granite thrown in as well, and this is going to be 3 high, and this will go up just something like this, and add in some more of the brick walls to finish this off, just like so. On top of that, we've got a donut of the polished deep slate, and on top of that we are going to have, fill this one in, another deep slate here, which is going to have our campfire on top. Actually, the campfire goes on that level, my mistake. And then we've got the stairs that we actually need to place these upside down, so just put a temporary block and then place a stair, and then start bringing these round like this into this pattern. And once you get that last block in, that'll close it off, and we finish these off with the deep slate slabs on top. Now if you wanted, you could replace that block beneath with a hay bale to get some more smoke out of this big chimney, but that is the final chimney built. And the very last finishing step is going to be similar to what we did on the other roofs, and that is using some of the deep slate bricks here. We can come in and we can just add some splodges of texture, and we do that right the way through the build. And once that's done, it will look a little bit something like this. And that then brings us to the end of this tutorial. Hopefully you've enjoyed this build. If you have, hit that like button, ding dong that notification bell, and leave a comment and a like. It would be most appreciated, and I will see you all next time on AD Craft.